History often remembers the grand battles of empires, of London, of Moscow, of Paris. But few remember the red dust of Multan, where blood soaked the earth and destinies were broken. The siege of Multan in 1848 wasn't just a skirmish or an isolated revolt. It was the beginning of the end for the Sikh Empire, the final resistance before Punjab was dragged into the grip of the British Crown. It was a siege that burned, that bled, and that transformed the map of the subcontinent forever. It all began in the uneasy silence after the First Anglo-Sikh War. That war had ended in 1846 with British victory, but the scars were fresh. The Lahore Durbar, once majestic under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, had crumbled into internal conspiracies, puppets, and British interference. A child king, Duleep Singh, sat on the throne. A British resident, Sir Henry Lawrence, sat beside him, and the proud Khalsa, the Sikh military elite, watched it all, humiliated, furious, and biding their time. Punjab was not yet conquered, but it was slipping slowly, painfully, into someone else's hands. Then came April 1848. In the ancient city of Multan, known as the City of Saints, British-appointed Governor Sardar Khan Singh was due to hand over power to a new governor backed by the East India Company, Sardar Kahan Singh Man. But Diwan Mulraj Chopra, the Hindu governor of Multan and a loyal servant of the old Sikh regime, had no intention of giving up control to the British. When the new governor arrived, he was attacked in broad daylight. Two British officers, Patrick Vansagnew and Lieutenant William Anderson, were brutally murdered by a mob as they attempted to negotiate the transfer. Their blood soaked the walls of Multan's ancient fort, and in that moment, the siege and the Second Anglo-Sikh War was born. Mulraj didn't flinch. He fortified the city. He rallied troops. He sent word across Punjab, calling on Sikh commanders, rebels and loyalists alike to rise against the British. He knew what was coming. He knew this act was rebellion and that the British would respond with fury. But he was ready, and Multan, ringed by mighty walls and centuries of defiance, would be his fortress. The British didn't hesitate. They launched a full military campaign, marching on Multan with Sikh allies who were still loyal to the company. But the situation quickly spiraled. What was supposed to be a quick suppression became a drawn-out nightmare. Multan was no ordinary city. Its geography was unforgiving. Its people were hardened by centuries of siege and rule. And Mulraj fought not just with cannon and sword, but with spirit. The initial British force, led by General Wish, found itself repelled. Months passed. Disease set in. The heat of the Punjab summer turned the battlefield into a cauldron. British troops, many from Bengal and Madras, collapsed from exhaustion, heat stroke, and dysentery. Yet the siege tightened. Reinforcements came, including the massive heavy artillery necessary to breach Multan's thick sandstone walls. Inside the city, resistance was fanatical. Women cooked for fighters, children ran messages, granaries were emptied. The fort, which had stood since the days of Alexander's campaigns, trembled under bombardment, but did not fall. The British pounded it day and night, shattering towers, ripping through courtyards, killing indiscriminately. And still, Mulraj refused to surrender. But time was not on his side. British reinforcements from Bombay and Calcutta kept arriving. The siege lasted nearly 9 months. By December, breaches were made. One by one, the outer defenses crumbled. British troops stormed the city in brutal street-to-street combat. Buildings were torched, temples desecrated. The bazaars of Multan turned into rivers of blood. Finally, in January 1849, Mulraj surrendered, but not with shame. He walked out in full robes, defiant to the last, and was arrested. The siege had cost thousands of lives, many more Indian than British, but its consequences were far greater than casualties. With Multan gone, the Sikh Empire had lost its last real stronghold. Morale collapsed across Punjab. Rebels elsewhere lost hope. The British, sensing the shift, moved rapidly, launching a full-scale invasion of Lahore and defeating the Sikh army at the Battle of Gujarat. By March 1849, Punjab was annexed. The once mighty Sikh Empire, which had held British ambitions at bay for decades, was now gone. And India? India was changed forever. The annexation of Punjab completed the British conquest of the subcontinent. There were no more independent kingdoms large enough to resist, no more armies strong enough to fight. The Raj tightened its grip, and India's fate for the next century was sealed. But in the narrow alleys of Multan, where stones still bore the black soot of cannon fire, a different memory remained, of defiance, of resistance, of a city that dared to stand. The siege of Multan wasn't just a local uprising, it was a turning point. It showed that even the strongest walls can fall, but not without a fight. It reminded the British that the subcontinent could never be fully tamed, and it taught generations that sometimes the last breath of a kingdom is the loudest. If stories like this make history feel alive, smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more real, raw and forgotten battles from the blood-stained pages of the past. From silent sieges to epic collapses, we tell it all, because history doesn't whisper, it roars.